Okay, so knocked the edge off there, ran the boring bar in a little bit. I just ran it just before the threads. So get this out. Oh, wrong way. Forgot. Hold, please. There we go. It's just a pain in the butt. All these stupid little things, you know. It drives me crazy. So, I'll have to put the steering wheel on first, but should sit, I think, somewhere around there. So see, it doesn't bottom out on the spline, but I think I need to, I think it's gonna hit. So I'm gonna shave just a, easy girl, easy. Shave a little bit more off, or I might shave a little in here. Now, I'm going to take a little more off the back. I'm going to do that and then put it all back together. I mean, you can see now it's not flush, so it's about 10 thousandths off of it. I'll take another 10 and then I'm going to put it back together. Hey, what's up? Dean, Super Performance at shop Kevin's car. So, came in this morning, data logged, made a couple of small adjustments to like the startup and stuff like that. Really minor stuff. Then I noticed the air cleaner, which I'll have to put some pictures. Well, I mean, I noticed it the other day, but it doesn't sit flat. So I went ahead and fixed it. You can see the weld going around. I added like a 1/2 inch lip to the bottom. So now it keeps it just ever so slightly off the distributor wire and the coil wire. And then the little indents in the bottom, you can't really see them. Yeah, you see there's an indent there, an indent in the back that line up with like those float screws that are not float screws. So I did that. Then I started playing with the horn, and I found that there was nothing coming from the column. So I took the steering wheel off, and what I found was the guy had originally put the, I can't remember, cancellation thing, I can't remember, on top of the spring. And that's if you have a keyed column, I think. Yeah, I think that's what the instructions said. But this is not a key column, so the spring actually sits on top of, or what was causing it was the button. It couldn't hit the button. Even if you shoved down all the way, you couldn't hit the button. So I was like, man, that's weird, you know, but like the horn works. So I was like, okay, everything's right. So I looked up the directions for a Flaming River column. I assume that's what this is. That's how it's supposed to go. The spring on top of the thing. So then I take the steering wheel, I have it over there, and I put it back on. I was like, cool, everything worked. The rubber O-ring for, where is it? The horn button. The rubber O-ring, I had to pry this thing out with this tool here. Like, it was a nightmare to pry it out, and then it just basically flopped this ginormous rubber O-ring out. and it tore it in 3 different pieces, so I couldn't use that. So I got this O-ring, which makes up a little bit, and then I did, which, you know, I don't prefer to do it this way, but on the inside of the hub adapter, and yep, it's chucked up in the lathe because we have a new issue. Inside there, you can see right there is a little piece of 2-sided tape, and then there's another one on this side. I put it all back together. I've been like data logging and checking everything. I kind of messed around with a couple other things I don't remember, but I just went to pull the car in and it wouldn't steer because this end of the hub, you can see where it's raw down here, was smashed against the column. So I was like, what the hell? Like, I had to full force like twist this thing, and you could see up here where it ground into the column, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And it's not like, I mean, yeah, I used an impact, but it's not like I sat there beating it on. And even if I did, it should never get to the point where it hits the column. You should be able to tighten it. And then I noticed all these, so I just pulled it apart, and I noticed all these little frays, these. And I'm like, what the hell is that? This thread back here was covered in them. So I got them out. I got to vacuum that out. And it's actually the hub center. Those threads are grinding through this hub center. I don't get it. Like, this is a pretty expensive steering wheel and hub and everything. I mean, and turns out it's a complete pile of crap. So I chucked it up in the lathe, and what I'm going to do is take probably, I don't know, I don't even know how much, like probably like a 20 thousandths cut off of it. And then I might throw the boring bar in and just kind of bore the hole out a touch, because I don't know what else to do. But I'm going to do that real quick and then put the car back together for the last time. But it's just a constant theme of having to constantly fix what other people do wrong. It's very painful to have to constantly do this stuff, or to see that there's people doing this stuff, you know. It's a pretty well-known shop that did it. But yeah, let me do this. I'll be right back. Okay, it is now 7:30 and I'm done. I don't know this hub. I don't know if whatever was done to it, but the more I machine down, it'll just keep going farther and farther. So it's like it's not hitting the stop. So I think where those threads are on the column, I don't know, something's not right. But he's going to have to look into that, because the wheel wobbles. Now that I got it to where the nut hits the spline, it turns, but it doesn't hold the wheel tight. So it's back together. The button's in. Horns work. That's what I got. I can't flip my camera around. I can take a picture, but I can't flip my camera around. Okay, well, that didn't work, because that nut is barely tight and the steering wheel is locked. So I think I have to make a spacer to come up. I don't like this car anymore. And you can see the steering wheel came right off, so it wasn't like this nut is completely hammered down. I think it will only, I mean, it'll keep doing it until I get the nut to hit that spline. I think that's the way I got to do it, because I think if I make a spacer, yeah, it's just going to shove down on the spring, and the clock piece won't want to turn good. So I think I got to keep I either got to keep taking the back off, or I have to go in from the front. Let's see here. Hard to do with one hand. Yeah, there goes the horn. Shut up. So yeah, I think that's hitting. Yep, that's hitting, and it needs another 15 or so. All right, that's what I gotta do. All right, cool. Okay, so it's now Saturday, and I've spent 3 hours trying to come up with the best way to fix this steering column issue. So I took it apart, right? I got everything back apart, and I just started looking at the hub and stuff. And I think what it is that area is just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I already fixed it, and this is how I fixed it. So I had two different ideas. I was gonna turn this area out, like bore it out, make a new piece that has a tighter tolerance inside to hit against this spline, or these threads actually. But I thought, man, I'm gonna have to weld on this thing and do all this crap. So I didn't really want to do that. So this is what I came up with. That nut down there is what holds this shaft in the column. It's like it has the bearings and all that stuff. So the horn cancellation thing, whatever you want to call it, needs to touch this, but then also when you put the blinker on, needs to be able to cancel the blinker, which it doesn't do regardless. So what the fucking actual fuck? Well, it did it that time. So I guess when you turn it, it goes past it, comes back, and it cancels it. Okay, so this piece needs to be shoved all the way down. So I machined a collar, and then I had to grind out a little bit of the inside of this, just a little tab that, like, which is weird because it allowed it to flop around, but whatever. So I machined this piece. I measured everything, the length of the hub, the length of this, where I want the wheel to sit, so it doesn't leave a huge gap, but it at least stays away from the column. So I made this collar. I tried the wheel. It fits good. It looks good. Then my issue is the spring to push down on the cancellation piece and hold it against the horn and all that stuff doesn't fit. It doesn't fit over the collar I machined. So I'm like, okay, no big deal. I'll get a new spring. Well, we do a lot of turbo cars here. We have a lot of wastegate springs. That's what this is. Yeah, it's huge, but you can't fit a spring in between there. It wouldn't fit. So it actually works out that this is so big, it kind of hangs on it. It looks stupid, but it is what it is. And then the wheel, it's going to beep the horn about 50,000 times now. Oh, no, it's going to go right on for you guys. So the wheel, it's offset a little bit. It's turned just a hair. Goes on, and you can feel it going in and out on that spring. So it's actually held in place. And then we'll put the nut on. Maybe. There we go. I'm not a lefty. So, push it down. There we go. Nut on. That's about hand tight as I can get it, but hand tight, it's already tighter. I got the Ugga-Dugger. This is gonna beep. I already know it. Stay over there. Couple of umps, and it's got a nice gap there. It's tight, you saw it, and the wheel does not wiggle. Done. Finally. Freaking done. So, fixed it. Yep. So, that's my fat hand in the way. Sorry. Yeah. So, everything mechanically on this car is now fixed. That I know of. That I've been told of. So, I am moving on because the Duramax in my Escalade, can't hold it, there we go, something like that. I decided to be an idiot and give her a little too much oomph and ended up pushing out a gasket O-ring on a water neck and exploding the expansion tank. So I already replaced the expansion tank, but I'm literally having to put 3 gallons of water in it to get from my shop to my house, which is about a 30-minute ride. And I'm tired of doing it every morning, every afternoon. So it's this little O-ring. This is supposed to be an AC Delco part. Doesn't have an AC Delco sticker, but you know, fingers crossed it works. There's a tube on the front that O-ring sits on, so being that it's halfway through Saturday and I'm here and tired of putting water in that thing, I'm going to go take the fans out, pull this tube. I gotta pull the belt and then pull this tube, and fingers crossed I can make this stop leaking. And then I got a little spot on the radiator I'm going to try and plastic weld. But yeah, you know, my own personal vehicle I can't even drive, basically. So that's it for this one. Enough babbling. But appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified of new videos. Have a good weekend. Yeah, these are hard ones when you have to come behind somebody that's done something, you have no idea what they've done. It makes it impossible. And I've spent literally all day today fixing somebody else's issues. Not created by me. You know, so I don't know what to say or do.